Fáilte over Culture, you're welcome indeed to another edition of the programme. Well, we're here in Breaffy House Resort, Castlebar for part 2 of the 2022 Mayo People of the Year Awards in association with Mayo County Council, the Connacht Telegraph and Rehab Care.
Yeah, and it's great to see it. It's great to see the awards here tonight for young people because they are the future going forward. As Matt Farrell said, they're the next generation. We have to pass on the baton to them. We have some outstanding young people in this county, and it's great for them to be recognised. And also the older group to see what can be done, what can be achieved. But we should be so proud that we have so many young people, and that's what I think is very important, the Rehab Awards, because they encompass all society in Mayo. Some great work going on around the county, but in particular the last 2 years, there was so much good work done underneath with all that went on, but there was so much work done, kept communities together, kept the community spirit up and that type of thing. So to be recognised tonight and to have the function back again tonight, I think it was great. People were delighted to be out and about. So great credit to Dell and Bernard and all involved in the awards, and let's keep them going because I know firsthand from my own family the experience of what rehab has done for our family and thousands and hundreds of families over the years, and you can see it in tonight. And I was delighted. My neighbour Fiacre Ryan was an amazing young lad. His book has been launched this week as well, and he's in the National Learning Network in with rehab. So the work that goes on, and so it's great, and let's keep it continued. Years ago I was involved with rehab myself with the late Paddy Cannon. There were some great people that kept it, Matron Duffy, and you had the High King and Queen of Connacht. So look, it's very important. The money goes back into the local services, so long may it continue. And young people, just keep doing the work you're doing because the country is in safe hands.
It is a great honour to be recognised for that particular work, because when one sets out to do that type of work in a voluntary basis, you don't look for any recognition, and you become a community activist and a professional beggar when you become a volunteer, and then you build up relationships over the years, and it's a very rewarding relationship to have, that you know that people are being rewarded, as I have been, for something I've been doing that is the love of my life.
The next winning award is the Popular of Mayo County Council. She is here. One to award very well over the years.
From a very young age, I've always wanted to help people and give back to my community, and I've always been interested in activism and been passionate about it. So I got involved with loads of different local community groups with Young St. Vincent de Paul, and then I kind of moved on from that and then went to a regional level and a national level, so that way I could give back to my community and help people. Something I'm very passionate about.
I know one of the projects you got involved with during the pandemic, raising money as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, so during transition year, I was the president of the Young St. Vincent de Paul committee in my school, and we raised money for the local SVP, and then further on I organised a charity fundraiser walk in the local lake in my town, and we raised over €1,000 for the Irish Cancer Society then as well.
I'm here representing the entire Páirc of Standoon for the Páirc Standoon, who received the Gradan McGailga Award, and I'm delighted to do stand-in for him. Very difficult to fill his feet, and I wouldn't ever suggest that I would be able to do that, but I'm delighted to stand in. He cannot be here tonight and to accept the award on his behalf. Buna an gradan seo le duine nó grúpa a codan an Gaeilge chun cín tríd na blinta. Agus má tá sé tilse ag duine be, tá sé tilse ag Páirc Standún. Ó dulse sé a chéad leabhar súla bre siras na hochtaí, tá sús le fiche leabhar scríofa aige i do drámaí díormha haisnéis agus gasúirt leabhar ó hin. And not alone are those books well read here in Ireland, they have a huge readership but they're also translated into several different languages all over Europe and all over the world.
Our next award is a Mayo People of the Year award for Brian Reynolds. Brian is originally from County West Mayo, but is claimed as a Mayo man through and through. He resides in Arizona and comes back to Mayo each summer and Christmas. When in Mayo and also in Arizona, he gives his time in a voluntary capacity to assist business startups in the Mayo region. He's played the role of entrepreneur in residence at the Atlantic Technology University, Idaho, for over 10 years, and in that time has asked nothing in return. He's a huge supporter of the Empower program at ATU Idaho, and he's an advocate for female entrepreneurs. He's helped founders to navigate the challenges in starting a business, and also plays a big part in helping Mayo startups get ready and apply for the new Frontiers program. Brian is unable to join us tonight, and I'll ask the Cathaoirleach of Mayo County Council, Seamus Weir, to present the award to Edel Cadden of Rehab, who will in turn present it to Brian when he visits Mayo this Christmas.
So our son Shane Currigan died from epilepsy in 2017, and we just wanted to get people talking about epilepsy and the risk of SUDEP, because we didn't know that there was such a thing as SUDEP. So I was at Knock Airport one day and I thought it would be a good idea to cycle from London to Achill. And just like that. And thankfully, the likes of Paul and Sean decided it would be a good idea too. And that's where it all started from, and that was pre-COVID, and then we had to bin it, and then we decided that we'd do it in 2022. So, yeah.
And what was the reaction of people when you told them to do this? Had you any idea of the distance from London to Achill to cycle?
No, and I hadn't cycled since I was a child. So it was a huge challenge. We hadn't a clue really what we were doing. But the result was amazing. People came out in huge support. People are now talking about epilepsy. People are aware of SUDEP. We've raised over £150,000. So the impact has been incredible.
I've always believed in community. I think I got it from my parents and from various people around Castlebar. But just to give you a few examples now, I'm on the board of a group called the Kerry Cancer Support Group. We run buses every day free of charge for people, as they say, on their cancer journey from all over Kerry to Cork and to Limerick, so that they don't have the stress of organising travel and so on. I'm chair of a group called the Tralee International Resource Centre, and we provide services and consults for asylum seekers and refugees and so on. And I'm on the board of the North East and West Kerry Development Partnership, which is, everybody knows what a partnership is. We provide support and funding for various local businesses and organisations. So yeah, I've been kept busy.
We've always been teaching swimming lessons at Balmulla Tidal Pool for many years, but when COVID hit, because we were outdoors, we were allowed to remain open, and of course under restrictions, that we were able to still continue to teach. We've seen a massive surge in our membership, I suppose because there was nowhere else to go and nothing else to do. And the fact that we were teaching a life skill, swimming lessons and life saving was very important in our community, especially with it being a coastal community. So I suppose when COVID hit, we kind of put the call out and we were saying, well, we'll do these classes for kids and for teenagers and for adults, and we have a weekly dipping session where we encourage people to come and meet new people or try it out if they've never tried it before.
Well, the cup was won in the United States in 1932, and Mick Muldaig was the captain of the team.
The Mayo football team.
The Mayo football team, yes. And then they came back, and in 1936, more or less the same team won the All-Ireland.
And, you know, the significance of the Pennsylvania Cup. Mayo then have always been at the top table in terms of All-Ireland participation. They were in Philadelphia when they won that Pennsylvania Cup. They were crowned world Gaelic football champions. And as Pat alluded to there, 4 years later, they won their first All-Ireland in 1936. So the Cup, 90 years later, tonight is very special as an award night, but very special on the 90th anniversary for that Mayo team as well.
Fantastic event. This event has been run for the last 28 years. Obviously we had a number of years off due to COVID, but it's great to see the people of this county awarded for the volunteerism and the wonderful achievements. I think it's one of the best nights of the year in Mayo, and I want to congratulate Adele Cadden and everyone from the rehab group. Obviously Mayo County Council is supportive of this event and we fund it, but I'm just delighted for all the people here. It's an inspirational night, Henry, really. Yeah.
And it's amazing to see the age group that are getting awards from young people to the more senior people in the community.
Oh, very much so. And it's a great way to actually reward people for the fantastic community effort they put in. I think it's just a wonderful night where we celebrate what is great about this county and the people of this county.
And you're enjoying the evening so far?
I'm enjoying the evening thoroughly, Henry. It's a very good night. Very good night.
Well, there's a bit to go yet.
Oh yeah, we'll get through the rest of it, but a fantastic night. And congratulations to all the organising committee. A huge amount of work goes into tonight and a lot of unsung heroes who put this all together, and a fantastic event.
It's hard to believe it's 3 years since we were here, and to Adele, Marie and the team, the work that they put in to organise this every year, I always love to come to acknowledge that work, but to acknowledge all of the prize winners here this evening, because they are the heroes, and I'm delighted to be here, particularly with Matt Farrell from Ballina, who has done so much for our town for so many years. But all of the winners here tonight are extraordinary people in an extraordinary county that make that county so much better for all of us.
And I think it's important, I'm sure you would agree, that people, these unsung heroes, do so much in the community without any publicity out there that they get acknowledged and honored.
Absolutely, and the one thing I'm struck about is that they're all very embarrassed to be here. A lot of them just don't want to be here, they don't want any fuss, but that's the great thing about it. And that they will be back in their communities tomorrow morning doing what they prefer to do, out supporting the community. And we're lucky in Mayo. Like I always say, Mayo, we're blessed with the Mehel that works the length and breadth of the county, and even we have a Mayo man in Kerry getting an award tonight, and that's fantastic for Sean. But it's just, we are very lucky as a county, but we cannot take it for granted either. I think every single person who's involved in volunteering deserves our recognition, deserves our thanks, because it makes the county what it is.
Here, look, of Castlebar Municipal District, Councillor Michael Coyne. Nice to see you here at the Mayo People of the Year. You've been a tremendous supporter of these awards, and you've attended them for many years now.
Indeed, Henry, I've been here many years, I suppose, sometimes more years than I care to remember, but they're always very good. It's always an excellent night. It's great, of course, to be able to I suppose, reward community groups and people in the community that have given a lot and have done a lot for their community. Many of them complete volunteers, never get anything out of it, never even sometimes get a thank you out of it, and yet they go on and they work in their communities to do things to make life better for people, and that's great. I mean, the community spirit in Mayo, I think, it's an example for other areas to follow, and I suppose other countries to follow. But it's this thing in the psychic of people helping one another, and it's great to see the number of young people that was there tonight that are being rewarded for the efforts that they are making, because if the youth isn't doing it, if the youth aren't involving themselves in these things, well, the old folks, people like myself and yourself, now we move on to the next step, and these people are coming up to take over from us, and I suppose to help their communities, and because if the youth start doing it, it will continue throughout their lifetime, and that's really important.
And it's been a difficult time during COVID and the pandemic for community groups in general, because a lot of them haven't been getting involved in things because they've been cocooned, for a better word.
Absolutely. I mean, for really the last 2.5 years, things are only back to normal, if you could call it normal this year. I mean, things are gradually, I suppose, picking up and getting back to what we used to call normality. Over the last 2 years, there was nothing happening. People were afraid to meet. People were afraid to, I suppose, even be in close proximity to one another. Many people were still, and still are, I suppose, wearing masks depending on where they are, but it still has an effect, but it's still around. That's the problem. Still many cases in our hospitals, in Mayo University Hospital, in Galway University Hospital, and of course when it's talked about and it's announced on news or it's in the paper about the number of COVID cases in the hospital, it sends a shiver through people. They think about what it was like last year when people were locked down, that fear isn't gone away yet, and people are not back to full speed of community. It'll be interesting to see what the next six or 9 months brings, but I think there will be some permanent changes has taken place in the community.
For better or for worse?
Well, some for better. We see more community activity, but then we would see other people, particularly the older generation, who were actually out up till COVID started, and who have withdrawn back into themselves, and now are kind of don't have the courage to appear to be able to go back out again. They're certainly not going back out to the scale that they were, because the fear is there. They're afraid they'll pick it up. Some of them might have been sick during the time of the COVID. And of course, the fact is that there are many people that when they want to get a doctor now, they might have to wait 3 or 4 days. And they're being much more careful because they don't want to get the flu, because if you get the flu, you don't know is it the flu you have or is it COVID.
And finally, it's just the end of the presentations tonight. A good night for everybody.
An excellent night, excellent food, excellent drink, and an excellent presenter. What more would you need?
Thanks very much, Michael.
You're welcome.
With all the awards presented, it's time for the guests to dance the night away to the Bras Welsh Band. Here's a recap of all the winners.
is the top hero of Mayo Council. She is here. One the most very all over the years. So a couple of healings here.
Well, that's it for this week. Congratulations once again to all the winners on their well-deserved awards. Now we look forward to your company next week at the same time. So until then, slán go fóill.